Hi there, this is Craig Beck from StopDrinkingExpert.com. I'm sitting halfway up the stairs, like, was it Kermit's nephew? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to deal with the subject. I know I've spoken about this many times before, but I've just seen someone post in the Stop Drinking Expert secret Facebook group. How do you deal with the cravings to drink at nighttime? And so I thought I'd just revisit this subject just to kind of go over again the reasons why. Because the secret to beating this drug and removing it from your life is to understand the truth, to understand what is really going on. Because the illusion that alcohol creates is that it helps you relax, and it doesn't. That's nonsense. But it's a very convincing lie. And so there's several reasons why the cravings for alcohol are stronger at nighttime for many people. And certainly for me, nighttime drinking was my thing. You know, I never drank first thing in the morning, and I used that as evidence that I couldn't possibly be an alcoholic for many, many years. You know, I could go all day without a drink. But as soon as I got home from work, bottle of wine open, you know, and I was on it, and sitting in front of the sofa like a zombie for the rest of the night with a very expensive bottle of wine. By the way, the reason it was a very expensive bottle of wine is then I could lie to myself that I wasn't an alcoholic, I was a wine connoisseur. Yeah, it's bullshit, but I was lying to myself. I had $400 bottles of wine in the rack. I mean, insane, you know, not only wasting money on a drug addiction, but then buying the really expensive form of the drug to justify it. I mean, it's stupid. Anyway, so you've got two things going on mainly. Firstly is the kick from the drug. The reason substances become addictive is that they have an inbuilt mechanism to try and enforce your consumption of it. So alcohol has a little time bomb inside it that sits in your brain and waits. And about 24 hours after you finish drinking, it will activate. And you will be consciously unaware of it activating. What you will experience is a sensation of mild anxiety, stress. So you feel a bit like uptight and, oh, I'd love a glass of wine. A glass of wine would help now. And the sensation it creates is so mild because it doesn't want you to identify it. It doesn't want you to go, alcohol. It wants you to go, I'm stressed. No, I'm not stressed. And as soon as you drink the alcohol, the stress goes away. The alcohol rewards you for doing as you were told. So this is how alcohol tricks you into a loop. So the first thing is the kick. The kick activates at the time you normally drink. So you've got this going on. And secondly, you have a little bit of Pavlovian conditioning here. You have conditioned yourself to drink at a very specific time, in a very specific circumstance, every day. All right? And for me, it was when I came in the house. You know, when I walked in the house, took my coat off, drink. And you've heard of Pavlov's dogs, yeah? So Pavlov conditioned his dogs so that he rang a bell, then he fed them. Rang a bell, then he fed them. Rang a bell, fed them. And after a while, he could ring a bell and they would salivate without there even being any food present. This is conditioning. And you can do this yourself. If I punched you in the arm every time I said the word Tuesday, eventually, after so many punches, you would start to feel pain, or you would flinch at the very mention of the word Tuesday, even if I didn't punch you. This is a conditioning response of the body. Now you might think, well, hang on, why does the human body do this? And it is because of the frailty of the conscious mind. Your conscious mind can do one thing at a time. Yeah? And when you were a child, you were probably challenged to pat your head and rub your belly at the same time. And it's hard to do. I mean, try it now. It's hard to do it, you know, exactly at the same time, because your conscious mind has to think about each individual task. Now, if you had to pat your head and rub your belly every day for your job, eventually you would become good at it. You would become proficient, but not because you were consciously thinking of it. It's that you'd created a subconscious program to run the command. So you don't have to think about it. It just happens automatically. And when you do something repeatedly, the brain, trying to help you out, says, okay, so we need to do this a lot. Let's create a program. And your brain creates a loop that you can turn on whenever you need to do this thing. Okay? So You've been drinking alcohol in a very specific situation for a very long time. You now have a physical piece of meat in your head that does this. So whenever you step into this environment, this is going to activate. It's going to light up with, energy and electricity. And you're going to think, oh, something's missing. I need to be doing something. Oh, I want to drink. And all this is happening subconsciously. You're not consciously aware that a part of your brain is activated. You just subconsciously feel like something's missing. I feel uneasy. I feel anxious. I feel stressed. And what do drinkers do when they're stressed and anxious? They drink. So you have several issues going on at the same time. Now, the way out of this is very important. The way out is to break the routine. You cannot let the program run ever again. If you let that program run, you are just making it stronger. Every time you listen to this and you drink, you make it stronger. Every time you can disrupt it and do something completely different, I mean radically different, fantastic. Now, I don't care what it is. When you get that sensation, when the anchor is activated, do something different. If what you would normally do is sit in front of the TV with a glass of wine in your hand, do not sit down. Do not sit in front of the TV. Do not drink anything. Jump up and down. Go to Zumba. Disco dance in your living room. Stand on your head. I don't care what it is. Go swimming. Go for a run. Go and visit your parents. Go take the dog for a walk. Scream. Do anything that is completely different to what you would normally do in that situation. You do this enough times and you will disrupt the pattern in your head. I think Anthony Robbins describes this as, imagine you have an LP. If you get a knife and you scrape it across the LP, eventually that LP won't play anymore. So this is what you've got to do with your Pavlovian conditioning. You've got to scrape a knife across it enough times that it just won't play anymore. Every time you disrupt it, it gets a little tiny bit weaker. Okay? So I hope that helps. If you have any more questions on that, drop me an email via the website, www.stopdrinkingexpert.com, or you can post a comment on this video, and I will speak to you very soon. Thanks for watching.